Welcome back to Old Man Wisdom. As normal, we're looking at the Euro USD. In front of you here is the 1 hour chart. So we're going to look at price action trading first, and then we're going to look at our MT4 indicator trading strategy as well. But let's just first of all then focus on price action. You'll notice the little blue rectangle here. This represents where the week started, and all these candles here are from this week. But really we have to go back to last week to really understand what's on the chart here. So firstly, I drew this zone at the top. We're just going to extend this across so that we know where we're looking at for this week. And the zone down here we drew, we'll extend that across as well so we know where we're talking about. Now it's quite important to understand what I was saying last week. This is where last week's week started. So you should imagine from here to here is 1 week, and from here to here is the second week. So when I was talking at the end of last week, I explained why I drew this zone down here, and I also explained that I wanted price to come down into this zone and stall before we bought the market. And I just want to go over again why I drew this zone. It's because I took the last low there, and I took it to the high here, which was actually a couple of weeks ago now. And you'll notice that this zone is between the 50% and the 61.8%. So that's why I drew this zone down here. And as for the zone at the top here, well, that was the same. I drew it because it kind of matched the high here. And I drew this zone up here simply because it had hit this zone a few times and rejected. So that's what I was looking for, not just last week, but this week as well. So last week, that's what happened. It came into this zone, price stalled, and we was able to buy the market. And last week I said, watch out, if it comes up to this high here and price stalls, then we can look to sell the market all the way down to this zone here, because price is ranging between these highs and lows. So this week, that's exactly what happened. These lines are literally from last week. They are still here. I wanted price to come up into the zone. That's exactly what it did look. First of all, here is why it caught my eye, because price stalled for several hours before selling. Up here again, price was stalling around this area here. So although that was the high there, price was actually stalling, and I managed to sell from this area here within our kind of zone. So a really good sell opportunity. And even today, price didn't quite come into our zone here at the bottom, which was a shame because we would have caught a nice buy. But really the theme for next week remains the same as the last couple of weeks. And that is, we are definitely within these two zones. Price seems to be stuck. There is nearly 200 pips of possible movement again for next week. What I will say is the same thing I said last week, that at some point price will break completely out of this zone at some point. We just don't know when. So for next week, we want to be looking for price to come down into this zone. And like I said last week and the week before, we don't just buy the minute it spikes into the zone. We want to see some kind of price action. That is, price stalling around this level here, or you see a nice spike and then an instant reversal. So that can happen down here, and of course it can happen at the top here. So it looks like at the moment it's heading downwards. If it gets to this area next week, we're going to keep a really close eye on it and see if price will stall and give us a reversal. And then of course we're able to buy the market. If we're able to buy from this area, then of course we want it to go as high as possible and catch as many pips as we possibly can. So don't forget that once you're in a certain amount of profit, to set your stop loss to break even and obviously protect your trading account at all costs. So that's what we can expect for next week when it comes to price action. When it comes to our non-repaint indicator, you'll notice again I've drawn the little blue rectangle here that represents where the market opened at the beginning of this week. And I said last week that I wanted price to kind of move down to around about this area, and then we'd get a buy opportunity. That didn't happen. Price just carried on steadily going upwards. And when we did get a sell signal, it's right on our multi-time frame moving average. So it doesn't look like the candle is below the multi-time frame moving average. And even if it was, I couldn't really see a logical place to put a stop loss. So remember, I have a maximum stop loss of 50 pips using this indicator, and there really wasn't an obvious place to put a stop loss, so I wouldn't have took this trade anyway. What does draw my eyes is to this buy opportunity. Again, we got the signal, but where would you put the stop loss? You couldn't put it right down here. That's 90 pips away. There's nowhere obvious to put the stop loss. So at the time when this signal painted, I didn't take it. There was no obvious place to put a stop loss. So we really didn't take any trades this week. Last week was a bit of a nightmare, but this week, not so bad. A couple of signals that we didn't really take. So obviously price at the moment is currently just above the multi-time frame moving average. So really we want price to kind of come down to the multi-time frame moving average level. And if price stays above, then we'll look for a signal to buy. If you look down at the MACD here, it's very, very close. In fact, it looks like it's going to give a signal very, very soon. And if that's the case, and the signal was to occur around about here, you could put the stop loss just under here at about 37 pips, maybe 40 pips, and look for a 2-to-1 risk reward strategy. So you'd be looking at 80 pips with a stop loss of 40. So it's very, very close. The MACD is very close to giving us a signal right now. And it could be a really good, valid one, even though I would rather it wait till Monday or Sunday evening. I'd rather not open a trade late on Friday. But, you know, sometimes these trades still work out nicely. And, of course, we can set our stop loss and protect our account like good traders always should. So, yes, there's a possibility that we'll get a trade even before the markets close today on Friday evening. We'll just wait and see. So there we are. Our price action strategy over here going really well, and our MT4 non-repaint indicator doing not as well, but not too bad this week. So as always, remember that if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, then please do. And in the meantime, have a great weekend, and I'll speak to you very, very soon. Bye for now.